Rosa's Island, written by Val Wood, read by Anne Dover. The moral right of the author has been asserted. Prologue. The river's waters eddied and broke over the bank of sunken sand, covering it with a watery blanket and then retreating. Again it came and drew away, and again. Over the years the sandbank grew wider and higher, and the constant rhythmic waves of the estuary surged and flowed and caressed its edges, flooding the greening centre only at high spring tides. Sunk sand, a bare and empty lonely isle risen from the deep Humber bed. A still land and silent, save for the haunting cry of the wild geese who stretched their wings in flight above it. Ellesmere, Frismac, Ravensor odds come again. The villagers who watched its mystical rising from the marshy mainland shore spoke in whispers of the lost lands of long ago, lands swept away by the swollen waters and their inhabitants drowned. Others shook their heads in disagreement and said that the sea had brought it, washing it down from the eroding cliffs of Holderness and into the estuary. However it had come, this lonely, mist-shrouded land, there was one opinion on which they were in accord. It was Riverland, and the river one day would claim it back. Chapter 1. Now, lassie, tell us again what your ma said. The Sunk Island farmer crouched down beside Rosa. Where did she say she was going? Was she going to Paddington Market? Rosa shook her head, her thumb in her mouth, her dark eyes gazing into the farmer's blue ones. Why didn't they listen? She'd already told them where her mother had gone. She was going to join her da. She took her wet thumb out of her mouth and wiped it on her pinafore. She's gone to Spurn to meet my da's ship. The farmer rose to his feet and pursed his lips. It don't look too good, Mrs. Jennings, he said to Rosa's grandmother. Why would she take it into her head to go all that way? Mrs. Jennings looked down at Rosa. She's been walking by river for last few weeks. Took Ben with her most times. We'll organise a search on all her Crown land first, but if she's gone to Spurn, we'll have to notify Kilnsea Constable. They don't want us tramping all over Peninsula. Road's too dangerous. Besides, he said bluntly, we've a lot of work on now weather's turned. We've more embanking to start as well as spring sowing. We're talking about a woman's life. Mrs. Jennings's voice was sharp. She's been gone since yesterday. Doesn't that mean out to you? His face softened. Thou knows as well as me that if Mary's taken it into her head to go down to Spurn, out could have happened. She could have tumbled into a ditch or dyke, water's deep after all rain we've had, or got stuck on marsh. He dropped his voice. We all know how she's been for last few years. She's never been right since yon foreigner left. But we'll keep looking, he assured her as she turned away. We've got men working on riverbank and on channel. They'll know if she's been down there, they'll have seen her. There's no hiding place on this land. Aye, she said wearily. I know. Will Ma bring my da back home? Rosa asked eagerly, as they went back into the farmhouse. Will he come in a ship with golden sails like she said? And will he have gold and silver like he promised? There'll be nowt like that, so don't be thinking it. Her grandmother was terse. Your ma filled you up with fancy ideas and none of it was true. Rosa sat in a corner and considered. Her mother had promised. She'd said that her da was a Spanish prince, and that one day he would come back in a great ship with billowing sails and sail around the Spurn Point and into the Humber. They would go aboard to meet him, and he would dress them in fine silks and jewels and take them back with him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?